Our city skylines are a mix of the modern and the historic. Only buildings from 100 years ago weren't really constructed with things like energy efficiency, accessibility, or even women in mind. Sometimes the newer ones aren't much better. So is it a matter of demolishing them and starting again, or is there a better way? Debates over heritage listing aside, ageing buildings are wasteful and inefficient. And when it comes to demolishing or retrofitting them, it can be really hard to bring buildings more than 45 years old up to sustainability standards, because a lot of them are high-rises built of glass and metal and concrete.
We're using an enormous amount of energy, and we don't need to. We know better.
There are other problems with old buildings too.
There's often a really long queue for the ladies' room at just about any venue.
Dr. Leslie Kern says that comes down to bad design. Ageing buildings aren't built for everyone. When public spaces and workplaces were being built, women weren't supposed to be in those spaces, let alone helping create them. And she says buildings and cities can be made more practical and suitable for everyone, especially when it comes to physical accessibility.
And then to rebuild them in ways with a much greater diversity of users in mind.
Dilapidated or outdated, traditionally the way to solve either of those problems is this.
Nice job, team.
Demolition is relatively fast and it means you can start from scratch, a fresh, new, shiny building. But an engineered explosion is hard in a congested city, especially if it needs to be quiet and clean, and it can be pretty dangerous.
We begin with the disastrous aftermath of yesterday's implosion.
A 12-year-old girl was hit and instantly killed. 9 others taken to hospital.
Even if you can do it safely, demolition is also wasteful. In Australia, nearly half of all landfill is waste from construction and demolition, and globally it accounts for nearly 40% of energy use.
Our use of natural resources and fuels has become toxic. We are in real trouble.
So what if there's a better way? Architect Dr. Norman Day says instead of demolishing, we need to unbuild, which would look something like this. Floor by floor, a building like this Japanese hotel can be deconstructed over years, and unlike demolition, the materials from each level can be preserved and reused.
It's much slower, but it means you don't get dust, you don't get explosions, you don't get noise. In long term, it's much more efficient.
Sounds great, right? So why isn't everyone just unbuilding? Because our buildings aren't really designed to be readily taken apart. So to make unbuilding easier, we need to build Lego style and actually design buildings for deconstruction, which is fine going forward, but it doesn't really help us fix all those dilapidated and outdated buildings that clutter our capital cities, which leaves us in a real pickle with a great idea that can't so easily be retrofitted. But we don't really have a choice, because if we want to build cities that are inclusive and sustainable, first, we have to unbuild them.
Hey, if you enjoyed that, make sure you subscribe to The Feed's YouTube channel.
And you can watch these videos here. See you next time.